Ladies and gentlemen, Hard Nosed Derby Podcast. Filthy Dungeon. Got a couple guests. Derek?
We do got a couple guests. Usually it's anymore our guests are over the phone, but actually we've got Austin Schaefer and Jordan Wood with us here today. What's up, boys?
Not much. Trying to find the bottom of a case of beer.
No, not on a Sunday.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, I went to Higbee last night.
Short drive.
Very short drive.
Classy town.
Does that town start with a C or a T?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Legitimately, pretty damn decent show.
Well, I kind of knew what was going over there.
Yeah.
Kind of knew what was going down. We've all seen it. It's an unspoken rivalry.
Unspoken. It was pretty spoken last night.
I'm sure it was.
You know, so
the only thing that I hate about it is it wasn't at one of my shows.
yeah, I kind of wish they could have saved that till next weekend.
Did they get it squashed?
Don't think so.
Good. Then we've got plenty of shows left this year.
The Vossmer showed up again last night.
They are running everywhere.
Yeah.
Running wild.
Yeah. They came in, I think, 4 deep, and that is a
Cutwater.
Cutwater Bloody Mary. Well, all right, you're the guinea pig. That's the Bloody Mary.
Not bad.
Fucks with it.
Not bad.
And this is a Cutwater Mai Tai.
No, you read the whole fucking name.
Holy shit.
That's not in the name, people.
Tiki Rum Mai Tai. That shit is 12.5%. I think a 6-pack of them in a pool would do you in a hurry. And banquet of beers. And there's probably going to be another brand going off here in a little bit. So
Smokey and the Bandit brought this up to me.
I think everybody is just on it on a Sunday. So, but we'll get back to the task at hand. Vossmer showed up.
I'm telling you, they've been everywhere. Seen them everywhere.
Couple Pickens showed up.
They've also...
I think a couple Bedsworth showed up. Oh, shit.
That's enough to make a compact class.
Big D.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Big D was down on it.
I know, I got a Snapchat from him yesterday. I'm not going to read what it said, but I screenshotted it.
I screenshotted it.
Yeah, I'll let you take a look at it. I mean, just read that. That's comical right there.
Yeah. We won't air that. We will just let everybody
that could be a nice little inside joke there. We can deal with that.
But I'm telling you, dude, these.
Well, I don't remember who it was, but somebody sent me about 45 minutes worth of Snapchats on that compact class.
Yeah.
And no offense to the compact guys, it looked like it got down to the normal compact stuff. Everybody in limp mode.
But for the first 3/4 of it,
they're always killer. The first part of a compact derby is always awesome.
Yeah.
I just hate when it gets down to the end. Everybody's in limp mode or tie rods are broke and they're...
Yeah. I think
I'd almost rather watch the antique tractor pulls.
Negative.
Call it what you
I
want.
think they had 14 or 15, I think, compacts.
It looked like they had damn near a 50-car show.
Danny Hobbs, Tyler Burden, you had a couple solo boys. Like I said, Big D, the Vossmers, a couple Pickens.
How did Big D do?
Big D, him and Tyler kind of went down on that other end and then laying shots on some Vossmers, and then they were both dead in the water, so I don't know what happened.
Which I knew Dudley, he was wanting to get rid of that car.
Yeah, he's wanting to get rid of that car, but for some reason he just can't get rid of that car. And it's not that he's not hitting people hard enough to not get rid of that car. You know, he is not known for sandbagging.
Did Gordon show up?
Gordon did show up, but I don't even think Mr. Jock got off the line.
Really?
Yep.
That sounds about right.
That
He was
girl
working on his
said
car
5,
lap.
4, 3, 2, 1, go, and he got smoked. Yeah.
Who did it?
Not sure, because I think it was a Vossmer, but But yeah, overall good show. They had, I think, 3 classes. They had roughly 35, 38 cars somewhere in there, I think, if my math serves me correctly. Hell, they might have
Now,
had
we've
a
got
bit
2
more.
people here that have run street stock that both run stock. Do you all think that these other promoters have hurt themselves getting rid of that stock class?
Yeah, quite a bit.
I'd agree with it. I mean, you gotta have a stock show pretty well because you know the people that don't want to put the time and effort into a street stock car.
Even the money.
Money, yeah.
Or the quality, or like he said, the time.
Right.
Now,
Because I know that we've had several people ask, well, why didn't you all just go, strictly street stock? You can't, really.
Yeah.
No, because you still got what 30 cars to show up every time for stock
Well,
class,
I mean,
and then
if the timing's right, yes.
yeah, easy.
Which they've almost hurt us a little bit getting rid of the stock class because you've got people showing up that run Madison, which they're calling their class economy stock.
Yeah.
But it's still the same cars running the street stock for Artie Clark. Well, they show up to our show, and I'm like, you're not running our stock class with that.
Yeah.
14-inch bumper brackets and 8 plates. Like, we can't do that.
yeah, because I think some of them last night had a little bit more bumper bracket and a little bit more plates.
It would have been a good place for that Mopar to go.
You would have got an instant stick, but I think what we talked about where it's going to go, that's probably
That's
where it needs to go.
Not after I get these kickers in.
But, the show, decent.
I didn't have anybody that I really heard bitching about it. I mean, I think everybody kind of
No.
knew what to expect. They showed up, they showed out, and
Yeah.
rolled on.
Gut and goes were normal. A couple Showbottom boys went down there again. Couldn't tell with the 12 PK what
That's
happened to that
Remington
one.
Mobile.
Yeah. I didn't see what he got down to. I think Little Buckman again. I think
Third.
he got it down
He
to
pulled
top
third.
3. And it was all, the last of them were just pretty much locked
Well,
up,
Farnan-
tied up.
Farnham won it, right?
Farnan was riding. Somebody else was driving. 4BA. I'm not familiar with his name. They kept calling him Big Arm somebody. Pretty good show. I sold that van that I bought for my boy to one of my techs at work, and he'd never derbied before. He rode. So he gets in it, and he said, well, when's your all's next derby? I said, it's in Columbia next weekend. He said, okay, I'm not going to junk this thing. I'm going to try to use my head. I said, well, it's a van. Just never
Use
go
the back of it.
forward. He didn't use the back of that son of a bitch at all. Straightforward, and by the time I got up there, the bumper was shoved in, the radiator was hammered, the nose was hammered. So my other tech, my main tech at work, he rode with him. He's his brother, so now I think they're all hooked.
Well, you all should have the equipment to fix that.
I don't think it's a frame.
Ah.
I don't. I think it's just everything else. But it looked like by the end of it, they were beating on the.
Is that the one I got the
motor.
Snapchat of that you can see the intake?
Yep.
Wasn't no hood left on it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the hood was like in the cow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's no bueno. So they already. talked
People
to
like
me.
them gut and goes, man. I like to see that shit fold up.
They do. I mean, every one of them folded up last night. So.
And I've tried to explain to everybody that these street stocks bend too. You just don't see where they're bending.
There were some bent ones last night. I mean, there was some bent ones.
Yeah, but man, everything that was run down there, it looked like it had been run and run and run. And
Either
run.
ran
I
and
mean,
restubbed or run and
That's what
put
I'm
plates
saying,
on,
yeah.
Yeah, nothing, no car there that I saw last night was fresh. Stephen Hayhurst probably had the freshest car.
Well, he had the bad. I'm sure that was his team car, wasn't
Yep.
it?
And he had bad luck at his
Yeah.
at Palmyra. And
Well, he immediately, done, couldn't turn.
yeah, but he wheeled it down. He got 4th last night, but it's
Yeah, but
70
he should be able to move some plates around.
Our
I mean,
rules-
I'm sure he had all of them on there, but
But our real estate's once plates on, you can't move it.
There's leniency.
But legitimately looking at it, I don't think he had them all on.
I don't either because I know how they rock, and they do run pretty close to the rules. I mean,
They'll run, they'll put half on and then see where it bends and then use them instead of just.
well, nobody likes moving fucking plates anyway.
No, that's gay.
It sucks.
Yeah.
And if you're not real good with torch, you get the frame every time.
Uh huh.
And not every shop's got a plasma cutter.
Right.
I mean,
You ever tried to cut a plate off with a grinding wheel?
It sucks. It really sucks.
Been there, done that.
But street stocks, it came down to.
You mean
Rob-
economy stock?
Yeah, something like that.
So it said on the flyer.
Limited weld.
Yeah, I think it came down. The top 4 was Rob and Teddy, Trey Hammond, and
Stephen Ayers.
Stephen Hayhurst.
Yeah, Blake was.
It was, and I think Blake got out in 5th. Yeah,
So I'm guessing that top 4 probably.
the top 4 turned into 2-on-2.
I kind of figured. Yeah,
I mean, and they weren't cutting each other any slack. I mean, there's some cars that.
well, I know that Teddy was done with his car, so I knew how he was going to drive last night,
It bellied out.
as it should have.
Yeah, it bellied.
It was time for that car to belly out.
Rob's was up. Stevens was up. Trey's was up.
Well, Rob's only run that car like 19 times, so I got a Snapchat of that car on the trailer, and all it was a hammer. That's all I got. It was the picture of the car and
And a hammer,
the emoticon of a hammer.
Yep. But overall, good show.
Did you get to see his steering wheel? You
He
could see his
come-
nose.
He come to me after
mouth.
he said that's the first time I've ever done it. And I said, bent the steering wheel. He said, I bent the steering wheel.
He ate the steering wheel.
Did you
There
know-
might have been teeth marks. in
Well,
it.
there was a reason why.
When I was waving him down to stop and they're doing the red flag, he flung his arms out, his eyes got real wide, and I looked at him, he had blood running down his nose and his lip, and I was like, "You all right?" He gave me a thumbs up, and he was like, "All right."
In the heat, they had 13 street stocks, and they decided they wanted to do heats. They took-
That's insane to me, by the way.
Correct.
Yeah, it was real dumb.
Yeah, there were some mad people over it. But
Why would you do that? I know, to waste time.
Yes.
But
Nobody brought parts.
I don't do that shit.
Don't-
No, we put Cody's car together. He lost a ball joint, so we had to blow a hole in. And we put his ball joint back together with like about
A
an
bolt?
8-inch grade 8 bolt
Yeah.
and washers and log nuts and sucked it tight.
When
Then
I-
he was out there in the Concy swinging donuts on that wheel that had the bolt in it.
Which grade 8? I mean,
Yeah, he'll just break it on bend.
Yeah, it. Where was I? So the heat.
Well, you're in the filthy dungeon,
I am.
dumbass.
Well, I'm drinking this 12.5% shit, man.
Like it's only been a week since we've been here.
Everybody knows that Higbee, when they redid the track, they dug it down and put concrete.
They mimicked
Block.
Sturgeon, is what they did.
Yes, except deeper. Cody went to one end to come around. Rob met him in the middle.
That's
When
the only
Cody-
way to stop a full track shot.
When Cody was against the wall,
Yeah,
sideways.
the bumper. They hit bumper on block.
Yeah, nose to the bumper on the edge of the bumper and a concrete wall. That's when Rob folded the steering wheel over.
You know,
his face.
their viewers have been getting those money shots here the last, month. Trey got that ridiculous shot.
on Colt.
Yep. And then it sounds like Rob just did another one of those.
Yep. Hammered the steering wheel, hammered his face. But like I said, overall
I wonder if he'll change the steering wheel placement after this.
placement. I know he's got to change steering wheels. I'm not sure of the placement part, but everybody we talked to.
How'd Milner's car hold up? I've got a soft spot for those cars.
He took a Lincoln head on.
Not a
Didn't
good
work out
idea.
real well.
Never is.
Tyler doesn't even have a lower cradle in there. So after roughly the second hit, I thought it was a header loose, and then I started really paying attention. I
There's
see
motor
both
lifts.
headers. Yeah, the motor was just rotating in there. So
I wonder if he broke a block.
It just sheared the bolts off again.
Well, that's good.
Both sides.
I mean, honestly, that's the better of that scenario.
yeah, best case scenario. He made it to the heat, out of the heat to the feature, but it was going to have to try to be pulled down. Nobody.
You know how hard it is to pull a unibody Mopar down? We've talked about this before.
We could have done it. He wasn't going to borrow tires from anybody.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that. Like, they want to split. We pulled that one down of mine, and the floorboard, I had a 4-inch gap
Yeah.
in the floorboard. Like, we was going to have to start adding some shit. And I was like, you know what, we'll just pull all the shit out of it. I've got another one set.
There was some. Like I said, he got through the heat. but he was limping pretty bad. Left rear wheel was destroyed, and tire destroyed, and nosed up, and motor loose, and I think everybody kind of concentrated on trying to get Cody fixed. Cody was a little bit more fixable. Do some work on Blake's a little bit, and just they did what they could do, and I know there's still cars left for another day. So, but overall, pretty decent. Hey, and I didn't show you. I got a little message.
I don't want to see you, Dick.
I got a little message this morning. As you see.
Oh yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I was gonna bring that up here in a minute.
There was also a derby in Troy last night.
And our face.
Our faces are plastered on the side of the doors.
Yeah.
But he does got a real cool ass Hard Nosed Derby podcast back on that quarter panel of a square body big wagon. And he still got a stick up on it this morning. So we will give a shout out to Mr. Dale Colbert. He went to Troy in their stock class. And like I said, he's got a big old trophy and a stick still up.
And our face.
And our faces are in like perfect condition. But he told me this week he was going to use those doors a lot.
That's what he said. He said he was going to throw our face. I said, you might take more door shots than you've ever seen in your life.
But yeah, we want to give a shout out to Dale for rocking the hard nose stuff.
And unprovoked. Like, he did that 100% on his own.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, I owe you something. Let's show these boys here.
Shit, yeah.
Just our face on the side of a car.
But good run to him. I know I think he's hitting maybe Montgomery County next week. They've got a little 3 Derby points thing. Cody
I tried to get him to come to Columbia.
Yeah. I don't know what they're paying for their little points race for those 3 shows.
Well, that's his local stuff.
Oh, it is. I mean, he's right around that Warrenton area. It's St. Charles, I think.
Hold on. My mom just texted me. She's watching our children upstairs. And my daughter just run up to her, I guess. She said, what'd you guys do? My daughter just come up to her saying, Mommy's mad. She said Mama told her she was mad at Daddy because Daddy hurt her. And then Mommy was sad.
I mean, that's a hell of an imagination for a 2-year-old.
Yeah, but she's got to watch her. She says that shit, too. I mean, I'm just like anybody else. I beat my wife in private. An open hand.
But I think she has beat you back in private.
Oh, for sure.
So we're going to start with Jordan. Everybody knows Mr. Jordan Wood. He's from Macon. He runs our stuff. He runs other places too. Jordan, to my knowledge, started out in a stock car.
Yeah. Started out in an 83 Oldsmobile.
Junk.
Big junk.
I remember when
my first car, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
The old metric GM, and I think he's
on borrowed parts.
Yeah.
A lot of borrowed parts.
Justin Thomas, him and Ricky Elam helped me quite a bit, but like they said, it's a GM, they didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
And I think we have all talked about before, and I think still on the LS.
Yep.
Still doing the LS.
Yeah, I'm pretty fond of them. You don't lose distributor caps as often.
Saw that a couple times last night.
2 in a row.
Yeah.
His setup has come so far. How long ago was that? It was like 17, 18?
I've been derbying for 5 years.
Yeah, I was going to say so.
But not consecutive. I know one year I set out because Justin and them stopped. So I didn't want to go out there by myself, and I met Cody at Madison one day, and he's like, you guys want to run together? I'm like, fuck, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it looks like you've had, good luck, and you have turned around.
Yeah, you've got a couple W's under the belt now.
Yep.
I got one, and I've placed a couple times. That's about it.
And then he jumped off in the deep end to Palmyra team show in a
old iron.
Beautiful old iron.
That's what all my friends talked about, how they had good-looking old irons. I'm like, fuck, I got to do something. I got to stand out.
But it was a pretty car. It was a pretty build. Just didn't have no luck that night.
That shit happens. Every time you pull out there on the track, it's rolling dice.
Oh yeah. And then he come to Shelvina last weekend, and he got the
He got fucked.
he got the infamous hosing in the center
Yeah.
of the track too. You know, so
Well, I think both these guys did.
Yeah,
Yes.
he parked on the guy. I was like, fuck it, I'll go help him. Parked on it too, and yeah, we parked.
you parked right in the center.
And you know, and I'm not blaming anybody on any of that.
No,
But if a guy would have went out there and walked that track a little bit before you run, you could have worked the east and west side and the south end of that track.
We had other things to worry about than the track. We thought we were going to go out there and get straight shit creamed, but it didn't go that way.
I was worried about the track. Like I said, we talked about it last week. We were compacting a track with a tractor that is
Not meant for compaction at all.
like I mean,
It's not meant to make the soil
they
hard.
were made to displace weight and not. What was that? What did I just?
He's looking
shit
at the
is
safety
stout.
man saying this shit is stout.
well, the safety man is the dude who brought the shit. So
So the promotions business owner said dealer's choice. I did not bring
every
IPAs.
time he said, "You need to quit saying this dealer choice shit."
I didn't bring IPAs.
My shit's good. Yeah.
That's good, but it's stout, buddy. Well, Jordan, how'd you get started?
Honestly, as my brother-in-law is Justin Thomas, and he was dating Amanda at the time, and he'd come over to my house and just hang out all the time. He's like, "Oh, we derby." I was like, "I'll come help you a little bit." Came helped him. He's like, "You think you get a car together?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I could smack something together." He's like, "All right, let's go to Macon." And that was a plan ever since. And for the first 2 years, we just ran Macon, and that was it. Then he quit, and I kind of just started branching out. And
A set of my tires ended up in the wood shop one time.
yeah, my brother borrowed them. He only ran Macon one time. That's my first year running LS.
Which is he gonna do any of that shit anymore, or is he?
I don't know. He's going through a divorce and stuff right now, so he
Which
says
I
he
told
will.
him to do that a while back.
Yeah, I think everybody. I think everybody did. My grandpa told him, and my uncle told him the day he's getting married. He's like, "Keys are in my truck. Take off."
I think he might have got that same speech from me at one point.
He's like, "Keys are. We'll find an excuse or something." He goes, "We'll
Didn't
reimburse
even need
him."
one. That's what I told him. I said, "You're an adult. Like you don't have to do this."
Free white and 18. Bye.
That's okay. It'd be a lot better off to start rebuilding now.
He might do something. I don't know.
Because he liked it. I mean, he did.
He did. He's one of those dudes. He's into something for a week, then the next week he's got another idea. He's gonna do something else, and then he'll be back.
I do that too, and I start all of it.
They'll be
One
back the
time.
week of Derby, and he's like, "I'm ready to get it done." I'm like, "Now you're ready to get
Right.
it done?" Like,
4 days, sweet.
Well, that's what we've talked about several times. That's why I only run 2-3 times a year. I don't want to take shit that's half done, but I also don't want to spend every minute I've got working on a piece of shit.
Sometimes you get the most lucky then when you take shit that's half done.
Well, I will.
I don't ever.
I
Every
will-
time I do that, it's like 19 people showed up, and it's everybody that run Blizzard Bash. I'm like, fuck, here we go, great.
Remember the night before the team show at Mother's Day Madness, I had my car done for probably a fucking month, painted under a tarp in the barn. And I remember Jordan's the night before fucking putting tire rods on it. And he outlasted me at fucking Derby. It's like, how the shit's this happening?
Which I will say this last night, I was standing next to a guy and there was a phone call, and it was Jordan trying to get his cage fixed to come last night to Higby.
Yeah, nobody told me. They told me the night before when Austin was there. Austin was like, "Are you gonna do anything?" I was like, They told me they were probably not bringing cars, not to worry about it. And it's like, okay. Austin's like, "Well, I'm going to St. Louis tomorrow, so." Like, all right, yeah, don't worry about it. They said not to worry about it. Not bringing cars. Text me about 2:00. Then Tyler called me. He's like, "You bringing a car?" I was like, "Why?" He goes, "You have till 5." And it's like, well, son of a bitch.
Well, if we hadn't have had to put up 500 square bales yesterday, that Mopar was going. Like, it sat in my driveway.
Yeah.
It needed backed on the trailer, and
But in that token, that kind of was probably a little bit of saving grace of what you got to go do,
right,
you know,
right.
after the bailing stuff, you know, so.
No, I didn't get to go.
Oh, you didn't?
I got back to my house at 9:30 last night. After 3 loads of hay, square bales back, yeah, and unload. No, I didn't. No, absolutely not. I didn't do shit. I finally took a shower and sat down on our couch at 10 o'clock last night. I throwed in a movie. We watched about 30 minutes of it, and I was falling asleep laying on her lap. I was like, all right, time to go to bed. No, I ain't get to do shit.
Yeah.
But I seen that they were turning up over there. The band was getting wild about 10:30.
Were they?
Yeah. I got Snapchat from Alan Brown. I'm not going to go too deep into that. But I giggled when I seen it.
Yeah,
Because,
because
see, I bet Dalen's pissed off at me. Because I was supposed to take him cheap vodka, pickle juice, and Zing Zang.
wasn't it Congress vodka or something?
I wasn't even going to put him out like that. I was going to let everybody...
Because I got the same Snapchat.
I was going to let everybody assume that he was wanting like Sky. Or something, you know.
Leave it. Leave
Give
it
me
to
that
Dalen
plastic
to drink
bottle
the
that
shit.
says vodka on it.
Yeah. It's got one little Russian emblem that says pop off on top.
Yeah, I haven't drank that since high school.
Yeah.
Whenever you were passed out in somebody's
Yeah,
cornfield.
yeah, dying somewhere,
Yeah.
telling my mom I was staying the night at my Christian friend's house.
Yeah, we're having a church lock-in this weekend.
All weekend. It starts at 6 Friday, and we'll be home about noon on Sunday. But you have run the metric GMs. You run,
Ford. Old
some
iron.
big stuff, and now you've got some old iron. Have you got to run enough of the old iron to figure out a preference yet?
No, I can tell you it's a lot better already.
Well, what do you feel about the drivability of it? Because that's what I try to ask everybody.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that seems
10
to be
miles
the
long.
Yeah,
that seems to be the big deal.
That's
Which
the
I
only
know,
thing
like
that-
at our shows, you don't have to worry about that shit because our tracks are huge. Like if you can't turn an old iron, Cadillac,
Yeah.
225, whatever. If you can't turn that shit around on our track, you don't need to be driving.
That's the only thing that fucked me up Palmyra is just cranking, turning, cranking.
Which we had y'all choke down on that.
Yeah,
running half track stuff, but
But once it got bigger track, it was fine. Just that little small section is
Oh,
either
yeah.
you're gonna have to wing it.
but
and
you
kinda
realize
catch
that
the
our
wall or
small
something.
section was about the size of Higby's track last night.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I mean, our half track is Madison.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wait till next Saturday.
Holy shit! Don't tell anybody. They need to show up. This is gonna be a
I'm not.
surprise.
Yeah, I met with Greg this week, and he said, well, let's map this thing out. And I kind of looked, and we started doing some measuring, and we were actually measuring the concrete walls. And I said, what's that section up there? And he started walking it off, and he's like, these are 14-foot sections. I was like, okay. And I'm not going to say nothing. I told him kind of where to stop, and he kind of looked at me and said, are you sure? I said, yes, sir. He's like, oh, shit.
Because I expect enough cars at that Derby that we're gonna want and done everything again.
Yep.
I don't like having to make people drag parts, and honestly, it gives, like I've said a million times, me more of an opportunity to fuck up judging the shit.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, when you're having to do one car,
Oh, yeah.
You might
I have to see
official that
one car
three
you know,
times.
Uh-huh.
A very
And
good
it's
chance
just
of it.
easier if I do it one and done instead of me seeing that same car on the track 3 times. They've got a better option, better opportunity for me not to fuck them,
Yeah.
by accident if they're only running once. Like,
Yeah.
Well, just like we talked about last night, nobody was expecting to run heats.
well, why would you?
Nobody.
No,
Period.
they're like,
That's
what do you guys think about 6 and 6? And it's like,
How many
What?
they take?
They took 3. The first heat
They
had
take 5
7.
out of each one?
No, first heat they had 7. They took 3. Second heat they had 6.
So what
they
was the
took 3.
feature?
It was supposed to be 9, and then they ran a consi. If they had 5 cars or more for the consi, they would take 3. They had 7 show up for the consi. So they only took 3 out of the consi for the feature.
It's 3 rounds.
So they had 9. They did have a 9-car feature. No, ended up being an 8-car feature.
But a
because-
13-car feature would have been.
Awesome.
get a lot better. Slowed everybody down a little bit better.
Well,
Get
it
bored.
would have made. I don't know. It's not my call. I need to quit worrying about that shit.
Not our pig,
my
not
call.
our farm. So
I'm telling you, every time we go into getting prepared for our drivers meeting, I'm like, hey, we don't have enough, so we got to do heats, right? And everybody's like, why are you worried about that, Steven? I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Correct.
I want it done.
well, it's
And then whenever we have too many, then I'm like, hey, can we just fucking split it? And we'll pay them both 2 features. Let's do
100
that.
degrees, cutting torches.
Nobody wants to work on that shit at a fair show.
No, they don't.
Now, if we were paying $10,000 to win, I'm gonna make you work on your shit.
Yeah. Correct.
I mean, it's like the 3K to win gut and go. Yeah, we were gonna make them work for that a little bit. Because they've been wanting it. So here, you can do what the big cars do.
And the sedan still won it against all those vans.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but the driver that was in that sedan.
That's a little shit. I mean, put him in that minivan. Put him in a minivan that was finished in the top 5, and I don't even think it'd have been close. But you know, that's the way he.
But you can say that for a lot of our drivers.
Oh yeah.
We've got.
Oh yeah. Well, now Jordan has confessed that he likes the old iron better. He still puts the LS's in the old iron.
Junkers.
That's why he likes them.
Well,
$500 scrap yard. I don't know.
For anybody who knows that the people that are sitting here with us, they are pretty much on two opposite ends of the spectrum for motors.
He's diehard small block, and I'll go over it. I'll jump over a small block for an LS every time.
Yep. So you've got an LS that
But
runs
that
really
seems
good.
to be the split right now with all this shit. You know, I mean, the Ford motors, you catch a couple of them. Because every time they come through tech, I'm like, man, the distributor's in the wrong
Wrong
place.
spot, dude.
We got that motherfucker stuff in there backwards.
Is this motor backwards? Where's your fan at? But, you know, we see the 1 or 2 Mopar motors a year.
Yes.
I'm assuming you'll see another Ford motor this year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's keeping it under wraps, but I'm pretty sure. he
Right.
will.
I kind of caught wind of that.
Yeah.
I know there's another one coming next weekend.
Uh-huh.
Because I think you
Did
got
you get a
that.
Snapchat of
Yeah.
that? Car
I
looks
was
tough.
like, distributor's in the wrong spot.
Oh, they love them motherfuckers.
Oh, he does. I don't know why.
Well, they've actually got, I mean, all bullshit aside, Gordon had so much luck.
Dude, I'm telling you right now.
Alex Stapleton, if he could drive, his motors were nasty. But I told him, I was like, every time you run, he's going to give me shit about this.
Oh,
He'll be
yeah.
mad.
Well, he can,
But-
he's working on a drag strip.
Oh, yeah, which he's kind of moved on to greener pastures
Oh.
in his eyes. But I used to tell him all the time, I'm like, I don't know why you hit that passenger side so hard all the time. I was like, if you're trying to take their battery out, there's better ways to take these cars out. Because he would make some nasty hits. Like, I watched him in Marshall full track a car. And if he would have moved 2 foot to the right, like,
It'd have finished it.
game changer.
Yeah.
Over. No, passenger door.
You know,
And the guy was like, okay, and just backed up. And I was like,
yeah, that didn't hurt. And the thing about the Fords, if you have the money to spend on a Ford, they're stupid.
honestly, that's with anything.
But if you want to build a $5,000 small block Chevrolet to do the same thing in Ford, it's going to cost roughly a third more. And that's
And
just the
then
way
you
it is.
honestly should just scrap all that and build a small block Dodge, and they'll handle the heat.
Oh, Jesus shit.
We'll have no power, but they'll handle the heat.
Exactly. I mean, at least it's still moving.
Steven's thinking of longevity.
Yes. Which I don't know why.
Well, his wife's here. Longevity? Didn't think so. Switch, fool.
There's
Yes.
a reason there's a stopwatch next to the bed.
You're on the clock. Go.
She's talking like 3 minutes.
Now that's dressed and undressed.
Get the old 30-second restart.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, hold up, time out.
Red flag.
Red flag.
Time starts again.
Red
Time
flag.
starts over.
Oh, God.
They always have to take that turn every time. Every time we have one of these, it goes down that road.
So we know Jordan prefers old iron now.
Yep.
I'm sure he will be back in a Vic because I think Jordan and I talked last night. When it's coming down to pocketbooks,
Oh, yeah.
without a doubt, 500 is way better than 1500.
All right.
That was a natty daddy.
It was, too.
Powered by natural light.
Natural light and stripper glitter. We were talking, he wanted.
Thick.
You drink them both at the same time.
Well, I've got to. Okay.
Jordan got a really good deal on this old iron last winter.
Which is something you don't find all the time.
No, Well, it helps when it's a buddy, and a buddy gets a good deal on one too, you know. And if you're willing to,
I don't have good enough friends.
no, if you're
Me
willing
neither.
to patch some floorboards, you know, or something like that.
I'd say it did take probably the whole sheet to do everything, but it wasn't because it needed it. It's just because they said it helped, and he said
The
it was
car's still running around, so evidently it did
yeah.
something.
He said it just needed a little bit of patchwork, and it did at the time. But once I got it in and thought of that, because I got it in dead ass middle of a snowstorm. Cody's like, "Are you really coming to pick this up right now?" I was like, "Yeah." Why? He goes, "Motherfucker." I was like, "All right." It's like, "I'll be there in a minute." So he fucked around, loaded it up, got it home, got it thawed out, and as soon as it thawed out, and you start banging a hammer around, everything just starts scabbing off, and I was like, "Son of a bitch."
Yeah, but you don't just find that with old iron. I mean, hell, I've got that 04 sitting in my driveway right now, and I went around it and pulled all that plastic off the bottom of it.
Mhm.
We started kicking rockers on it. Rockers started falling out of it. And everybody's giving me shit. I'm going to fix them.
Anytime where there's a molding,
Yep.
that's going to retain water, period. And
Now, all the fenders and shit look good.
yeah, fenders and quarters, the important shit.
Whenever we get the body pulled off of it in the next couple of weeks, I'll know more on what's going on with the frame. But box, everything looks spectacular on the
Bitch is
frame.
black in the front,
Yeah.
you know.
Speaking of that, Dad drug home a fucking wagon one time on a trailer, and you look at the outside of that thing, you're like, holy shit, this is fucking Jim.
Yeah. Stick
Okay.
your finger on the inside of that.
No, you get close to it, you pop the door open, there's not a motherfucking thing in between rocker and rocker. Not one thing. Rushed out,
Flintstone power.
straight out of the firewall, like nothing.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, well, we can just whack a floorboard out of the other one, put in this real quick. And I was like, you're fucking nuts, dude.
None of that shit happens real quick.
No.
And you can ask Jerry Lyerly about that with that car he took to Border Wars. Holy shit. Something like 70 hours worth of welding and sheet metal repair.
And so I know I think I'm on, after this last time I was fucking with, I think I'm on 6 rolls of wire now.
But Jerry said he did it just to prove a point. You can fix one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can, if you have the time and you've got the knowledge of the manpower.
I don't
you
know
can
that
do
he
it.
100% had the time. But you know how Jerry is when it comes to that
Oh,
stuff. He was going to prove a point. I mean,
And it was a hard prick too.
battery.
You want to rebuild all of them, your dad wanting to start over, throw it away, start over.
So we will move on to Austin. Austin started out the same way. He started running the local stuff around, stock stuff. I don't think you've ever been in an old iron.
Not yet.
Not. Oh shit! He said not yet. What a lot of people don't know is I grew up with Austin's dad.
Wild man.
Me and Dustin we're the same age. Both of us grew up in Shelbina. Grew up at the Derby tracks,
Right.
Austin's grandpa was the original OG,
Yep.
from Shelbina. That's when it was the Schaefers against the Morgans against the McEwens.
And you got a great pipe on there, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, Pfeiffer. It was wow. And then so Austin's been in this game really all his life. He just didn't know it. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know your dad kind of stepped away for a long time,
Yeah.
while you were younger, and then you got to this certain point where it's time for you to start running. So I think that's when your dad jumped back into it, didn't he?
Yeah, so first what happened was I finally wanted to run one, and he got talked into it, and he got his for 2009. I think was the last year he ran to. I guess 2 years ago when I ran my first one, and we went and pulled some of his old shit out of the barn under a tarp, and he looked at it, and you crawl everything with a hammer to go do anything. You just flaky. I mean, just insane. And I got to run it at Higbee actually, the first one. And I shoot you now, I was running that thing with toggle switches, pimp stick, and a boat tank. And a cable on the fucking dash bar for
now,
gas.
we have seen that pimp stick work out.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just didn't like it. I'd fucking start jamming the thing in the park. Like, I was like, fuck
Well,
this.
we watched Justin
Last
fucking
weekend.
with it.
Yeah.
Whenever Matt was really, really putting the pressure on him, he was hunting.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to drive one of them cat on them
Well,
cable shifters. You can
even
set the
I-
park lock
Well,
out.
see,
And it's,
even I run a trans mount,
yeah.
MOP,
Right.
but it's got a park lockout on it.
Yeah.
I can get nasty with it.
Yeah.
I've rubbed 2 shifter handles off it.
Yeah. That first one I ran, it was a mess. Pimp stick, boat tank, had 750s all the way around it, new style
The
Ford.
first car I ever run, that 94 Lincoln, It had 700s all the way around that bitch.
Yeah. Floating suspension. I had it all like
Well, I was
straight like it was
solid. I was
straight like it was done in the 2000s. It was insane. I got home.
a
me and Dad-
Morgan build.
Yeah, pretty well. I mean,
Yeah.
nevertheless, I got home. I told Dad, I was like, "This ain't gonna work." I said, "We're gonna have to find something else."
No,
Done.
and time and hands-on is really the only way you're gonna learn how to do that shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I got that car off Pal, and he was like, "It's ready." And I got out there, I was like, "I can't take this." I was like, "I'm running against Eddie Check, Tommy Stark." I was like, "There is no way." I've been in their shops.
Yeah, my second derby was down there in California. And I was in the same kind of floating suspension pip stick fucking 307 with a perfect circle for a camshaft. I'm not shitting you. And I ran against the Stark clan, and boy, that didn't work out at all.
Well, it comes back to if you don't win, you learn.
Right.
You learn.
100%.
I mean, you just learn quick.
Always innovating.
Yeah, if I could park my car that I got now to the one I first ran, you wouldn't even recognize it. It's just changed
Well,
so
you see that a
much.
lot. I watch people post their, shit from 8 years ago on Facebook, and you're like,
Yeah.
you see floaters under the ass end, with axles sticking out this far,
Oh, yeah.
dually wheels turned around backwards, running
Yeah.
and shit. Like, you're like, wow, what have we done?
Yeah, that was kind of starting to get to the point of like pinion brakes and everything, so even if you didn't want to spend the money on a pinion brake, you're looking and you're like, well, these wheel cylinders are shit, let's just cut these brake lines. Oh, I got front brakes now, that's all I got. Well, now everybody's opposite.
Yeah, I first finally got a pinion brake for that Mother's Day Madness show, and I used to run the old fucking drum brakes on the back. Of course, the axle seals leaked like a son of a bitch. I didn't have a wheel cylinder in one side, so I was running like 1/2 slick brake on the back.
Oh, yeah.
It was a mess.
Which, I had a 9-inch that had disc brakes on it, and they worked like killer until you got a wheel bend.
Yep.
Then a catch.
Yep,
Anything that's got a chance of catching a caliper,
you're over.
yeah, it's out.
And then I had a 9-inch that had drum brakes on it, and they worked great when they worked. Which now we've kind of come up with the times. We've learned how to build pinion brakes, and
Oh yeah.
because I've run some pinion brakes that did not look good, but they were functional. Well, you come to my shop, it's like me and my wife. Hey, help me slide this rear end under there. She weighs 98 pounds.
That's the way mine was for the longest time. And like I said, I met Cody and them, and he comes over almost every day. And so now he'd get pretty well stuff whacked out together pretty quick.
So now you guys have kind of formed a crew, clan, group of buddies.
Boy, I'd like to pop him at least once.
And
There's one time I was
it's
at the
gonna
very
happen.
bottom of the list,
Oh
and I
yeah,
always got the shaft on everything.
it's gonna happen. You're gonna go to those shows where it's gonna be you 4 or 5 guys at the end. Guess what?
Boy, it's party time then. I tell you what.
That's the most fun I ever had with it. Is
I'm
just me and
ready
Landon.
I'm ready for Derek's boy. He needs about 2 more years under him, and then I'll finally have some real help. Like, because he's already, after he run that gut and go, he's hooked.
Oh yeah, we going here, we going there, we going
And
there. I'm
Derek
like, oh
keeps
my
telling me,
God.
shut up, quit. I'm like, man, come get one of these old junky cars.
Just let him run yours.
Well, he was beating the door down over the week. Hey, I want to take that to Higbee, and I already knew what was going. I was like, you do not need to run your first big car.
It'd been fun. Been a learning.
Well,
learning
he
No,
experience.
it wouldn't have. It would have ended up with me with a junk fucking car.
took us
And
home.
Bub's feelings hurt. Is what would have happened.
He took us home last night, and I made a couple text messages. Said, "Hey, you got a empty driver's seat?" And he said, "For who?" I said, "My boy." He's like, "Well, I'm not sure yet." He said, "Just come see me before the derby." So I said, "Go ahead." And I said, "Son, leave your shit in the car." Started walking into the pits, and I started looking. I looked at him.
You don't want to do
I looked
that.
over and said, "You're not riding tonight." He was like, "Why not?" I was like, "I'm telling you, you're not riding tonight."
Well, and that was my big deal, because if it would have been Madison's show,
Oh,
he could have taken that car. I wouldn't have cared. But I knew what was going to Higbee last night, and my car does not have enough for it. I felt like that I do have enough driving skill that I could have stayed out of the way. Which my game plan was Huff and them there last night.
Mm-hmm.
I would have went and found Huff and been like, hey, let's go rub the paint off these doors down in this corner. We'll let them do what they're doing. I was like, whenever they get down to about 4, we'll go up there. Because I could have run with like Teddy and Rob and and Trey and Steven, but I know where they would have left me.
Yeah.
You still would have been the odd man out.
Yeah. Whenever it come down to those 4, it would have been like, oh, hey, we're going to shove Steven over the wall real quick and then go back to doing what we were doing.
I ran a couple of them. Sometimes, they throw a red flag, you're at the bottom of the totem pole, and then everybody's like, on the other side's looking at everybody, and they're pointing at you, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Sitting there counting 1, 2, 3, 4.
And, I've been in that situation, and never once have I got mad. Like, all the crowd's usually like, well, you got to back them off. I'm like, I didn't bring enough people with me. Let them do what they're doing. It'll be over in a minute.
That happened to me at Macon my first year running the LS in like a kind of a competitive car. And it came down to Eddie Chick, Teddy, Rob, and there's someone else. There's 2 other cars, and Eddie and all of them looked at each other and pointed at me. Then I looked at Teddy, and Teddy's pointing at me. And I was like, I already know. Teddy came and hit me, gave me a love tap, and he looked at me, and he's like, pointed again, and I was like, yeah, I'll give up. I'll give up here.
Well, there's 2 options at that point.
I don't ever give up till my
You can
shit's
fight,
fucking done.
and hopefully you get 1 or 2 of them before it's over.
Most of the time, all 3 just peg you right in the corner and just keep doing it.
Which all those guys that we've even talked about, Milner, Cody, all those guys, they know enough that they're not going to hurt their shit to put that 3rd car out.
Correct.
They're going to take you, they're going to shove you in a corner somewhere, and that's where you're going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
Even making daylight, like we see it at our shows all the time, even us backing them off, like, they'll back up that far, that's all they got to do. Mm-hmm. And the next one's already feeding it to you, so you're like, here we go.
And now you guys have been in the game long enough, even the 4 or 5 of you that go, do you all draw straws? If it does,
Hell no.
Hell
no.
Because I'm going to sit here and say this. Before we had the team show in Palmyra, I knew the 3 teams that were signed up, and you all run together. And I asked, I said, what's going to happen? He's like, we all of us said we're not breaking our sticks.
We can't.
Yeah, we talked about that too.
Yeah, me and him went there with a plan because everybody else is like, we draw each other, go at it. Me and Austin are like, no, we got a plan.
Said, we draw you guys, you better hold on your fucking seat, bub.
That's why I kept giving Cody shit. Like, damn, my car looks good, man. Them headers are gonna look even better parked on my fucking bumper. He's like, you better fucking not.
But like, what's your plan moving forward? Like, what's next? Because I know there's something in the works.
Not yet.
That old car.
He's got this look on his face
Not
like,
yet.
you bitches just don't.
Yeah. We're going
I know
scouting.
where your shop's at, fool.
We're going scouting after
Closed doors this week.
Closed doors. Because we just talked, both of you have started in the stock class.
Yeah, but your shit's got to be used up.
Yeah, it's bulldozing out the front driveway right now. There ain't no front clip left on it. It got cut off and thrown away.
What you did at Shelbina, like
She's toast.
It's over.
She's toast.
It's over.
Now,
But you can't be mad at that car.
Fuck no.
No.
No, I did.
you
I
could be
feel
mad
like
at the transmissions in that car.
we finally got one figured out.
Did you?
Got one figured out finally.
I think everybody does have a question though. What's your reasoning on your ride heights compared to everybody else?
Everybody gives me shit about the monster truck.
Let's hear it, because I know that TJ Johns and them used to do it back in the day, and I've also seen them over upside down because of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, I always got that in the back of my head. I was like, motherfucker.
You were playing with fire.
I know. There's a scoop out there. I was like, I'm not. First thing off the line, that guy comes over. Pork chop. Yeah, he comes over and scoops up my front tire. Like, fuck, already? I said, this guy knows I'm sitting high. He's going to try to turn me over. But I don't know the reason. I guess just like old school, Dad loves it that way, and Grandpa and all them, give me a shit if I. So I built one low one time. Like, oh, that's way too low. Like, you couldn't even crawl underneath of it. That's way too low. You got to have them high. I was like, but so far, it's worked. It's worked out kind of.
And see, my Mopar, it's too low in the back end.
I just don't see a disadvantage being so high.
If his ass wasn't up so high, I don't think
nobody would
notice.
Well,
but now
are you running 23s on that? 25s?
Front or back?
Back.
Back, I ran 23s at Mother's Day,
Right.
recently for Shabana track, for some reason, I ran 27s.
Probably wasn't a bad idea.
Yeah. And I put my 23s up front, but it's still
Right.
sitting pretty tall.
Yeah.
But it says pretty level.
Yeah,
It
it's,
does.
You know,
See,
And that's
I-
where we were talking about Alan Brown. You know, he's not all about this rake. He's not.
nope.
He said he don't like it. It's putting more pressure on the front. You know, because you're already running uphill.
so I just kind of like figure in the leverage thing. You know, you take something that's cocked up a little bit,
100%.
it just puts leverage where you don't want it. And I figured the more you can run level, just
Right.
taller, even if you do that lower, you know, bring your front suspension down lower, I'd probably be even better
But you got to watch out
for the
running that
the-
front end too low.
Yeah,
Because as soon as you're cleared,
it's over.
That's like Blake last night. Rob's bumper is slanted and Blake's bumper is just straight. So every time Rob would hit, it's just like
Come
a
on,
ramp.
Rob.
It just kept ramping.
Which you have probably figured out where it'll push instead of go up.
Yeah, it's a
It
mess
pushes
underneath
farther
there.
back.
It's a
After
mess.
He's seen it, and he's showed up, and like Jerry understands that he's trying to fix this car.
Oh, she's
to
done
fix this
now.
car.
I don't give up
Oh,
till
they
it's
Fix this
done.
car, and we were like, man, this is enough. Like you've done enough.
He's done. He did
Yeah.
enough to try to get it to where he can get one more run out.
And
of
he
it.
didn't have to cut a bunch at
No.
Shelbina, but there was shit that just like any driver is going to do is excessive.
Correct.
Oh yeah,
Like you knew what you were doing when you did it.
yeah.
Everybody does.
Right.
You know, instead of putting a 1/2 inch weld on it,
Oh
you
yeah,
gotta
just
throw 2 on it. You know, just
2 inch. No.
yeah. Well, no, that's where we were at.
yeah.
On some of the seams that had blown apart and shit like that.
I mean, you take one of those cars and you shove it together and you stretch it out and you shove it together and you
Oh,
stretch
yeah.
it out. The shit just comes apart and it's
Yeah,
like
well,
flimsy
and just
after
you
that.
talking about the stretching part of it, like we've talked about this so many times. There's people that think they're like those cars are tilted at the box. I'm like they're not. They're stretching these bitches,
Yeah,
and there's nothing in our rules that say you can't stretch them.
yeah,
Are you playing with fire when you do that?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Every
it's-
time.
it's gonna weaken somewhere else.
Yeah, I took that
fucking
car home
right.
after Shabana. I put up jack stands probably about the transmission.
And you pulled
the
it
cross
forward
member.
and down, didn't you?
After Shabana, so
Yeah.
I was done. So I cut the fucking front fenders down and I just put like a hand's worth of pressure on the front bumper and that thing just fell straight to the ground.
Oh yeah.
I was like, this thing's done.
Oh, yeah.
It's over.
Well,
And that's where I mean, you are either a hero or a zero whenever you do that.
hmm
Because even whenever you stretch the front end of them and pull them down and where they're tilted right,
Put pressure on.
you're fucking A right. And sometimes it's negative pressure.
Yeah.
which we talked a while back that it is all geometry and pressure.
It is.
So
It's the laws of physics.
I built two cars exactly the same, and one turned kick ass, and the other one's just complete pile of shit. Like, it's insane.
We
How many
talked about it,
times?
yeah.
How many times we talked?
They all come off the assembly line. Say that
If it's a
there was
Friday
a
car.
guy that didn't want to be there that day.
Oh,
and
we
his
call it
machine
Monday to
wasn't
Friday
set up,
cars.
You know, his machine wasn't quite set up right, and he was like, "Fuck it."
Look at one of them. We got back there, and like you go look at the frame welds, and
Jump.
it's like they didn't have the gas turned on the MIG
Yeah.
welder, and it's all bubbled out, and it's just like this thing's a pile. It's a
No,
Monday or Friday
And
car.
see, that's whenever I want to find out. Whenever they used to find that inspection sticker on there, inspected by 91. Like, where the fuck is he at? I'm gonna kick his dick right now.
Yeah,
I
Or
said,
like-
I said it last week at the podcast, and I said there's something that I'm going to talk about, but I wanted to wait till he's on there. Get your phone out.
oh, we don't need to see this.
Austin has done some
Exploratory experiment.
some experimentation, scientific wise. A while back, we were talking to Adam, and Adam was saying there's times when you can get a unicorn. You know, if you go buy Ford 2000s,
Yes.
one is going to run or hold up way better than the other if you build all four exact. Austin showed me this picture. Those are two exact cars, rails.
We're not gonna
What?
say the year though.
We're not saying the year, but they're the two of the same year. And he can see the picture of the quality, the frame thickness.
And see, a lot of that is inside deterioration.
Yeah, right.
But look at the frame wall.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even places in one's not rusting, the other one
Right.
isn't. There's still quite a bit of difference there.
It doesn't matter. Like, look at the outside wall. That right there is enough proof. And will you send us that? Like, because nobody's gonna know what
Yeah,
year it is.
yeah.
If you'll send us that, we'll post a link with this,
To see that.
just so people know, because they can be like, well, you can be a badass builder and run into some shit like that on anything. You know what I mean, from your unibody cars to full blown old iron, you're gonna run into shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody's like, well, this car twisted at the box. Well,
That picture right there is just
one of them might have been an
indication of
1/8
what I
inch thick, and the other one was
3/16.
yeah.
Yeah, I ran into that when I was doing some rust repair on frame. I took that chunk over to the chop saw and took the other chunk and whacked both of them off about the same place so I could weld it back. I picked up the two pieces and I was like, holy shit, what is going on here?
And you
Yeah.
for sure went with the thicker one.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know I would have done.
You know it.
Let me go get the rest of that.
But see, he showed me that Saturday night after we got to enjoy ourselves in the beer garden
Right.
for a little bit, you know. And he was like, I want to show you this. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We've never, doing the builds that we always did, it's just, usually I'm on a time frame of, hey, we've got 3 weeks. We've got to be a Blizzard Bash. I'm
Yeah.
like, what? He's like, yeah, 3 weeks. And I walked in the shop and I went, you mean 3 months? He's like, no, 3 weeks. Oh my God. So we never got any time to do the R&D, you know, like you just did, like
Right.
you were able to do this winter. But I think if more people would do that,
There's so much, like, I can look at a Ford frame from an 80s to a 90s and pick everything that's not on there or that's supposed to be on there from a 90s to a 2000. Every little dimple and every little, like, spot of weld.
And we're starting to learn that. I mean, even me as a promoter, sliding over into the tech side, because, you know, there is situations where one of our techs can't be there. Or shit like that. So I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm having, like, my biggest deal is the old iron stuff. It is because I haven't seen all of them. You know,
you've been around some caddies.
I've been around the Cadillacs, and I can pretty good on that because Teddy, Corey, Rob, all them guys have, with open arms, you know, back whenever I was going and helping them and stuff, which I don't get time to help anybody anymore.
We
Fuck,
don't
I
have
barely
hardly
help
time
myself.
to spend time.
The old iron stuff, everybody's pretty sneaky with, dude. I pissed Cody off plenty of times with phone calls after phone calls, asking questions because I went and asked Rob questions, asked Teddy questions, asked other
Yeah, but as
people
long as you're
questions.
not telling
Well,
each
I was
individual,
just saying, I was like, hey, they told me this. What are you thinking about this? Well, God damn, I hate when you call me and ask me stupid shit like this. Like, well,
I think we just need a big spreadsheet, you know, that says everybody's secrets. Just put it on the board, and everybody builds the same, and it just all comes down to
so
driving.
he's wanting more of a NASCAR style.
Well,
Derby.
Yeah.
you know, and it's not that Jordan is trying to learn secrets.
No, I'm
This
just.
is his first old iron build.
That's why I told
So he was trying to take a little bit from here, and,
Right.
and I've said that.
But
you
see,
know,
they
a little
won't
bit
all
from here,
tell
a
you
little bit-
exactly
No.
what they've done.
I'll do that
And
to
that's how
anybody
you
though,
end
any
up.
car or any make a car. I'll question the fuck out of anybody. Like, hey, what you done here? What you done this? We've been doing it to Teddy ever since he started running for us, and he still don't say much.
And that's the thing. You're not asking what he's doing so much as
Yeah, we just beat around the
why.
bush a little bit.
Yeah,
We're like, oh,
why? You know,
Well, that was my big
we know this is what
question.
you're doing, but why are you doing it?
My big question was when everybody was running these 90 to 94 Lincolns.
Uh-huh.
Just why?
Nobody wouldn't tell
Nobody
me.
would tell
Nobody
you
would
why.
tell me. So finally, I'd get one at the house. Side buys one. And I'm like, all right, perfect. You know, I'd already run one, but it's been crushed.
Yeah.
You know, it's gone. And I've got my 9802 sitting there, and we've got a 91 Crown Vic. Totally fucking different. Completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And Derek's like, what is it? And I told him, I was like, come over here, I'm going to show you. I found it.
Yeah.
And it took me 2 weeks of looking at your car.
Constant looking at this.
It was driving me insane. Driving me completely insane.
Finally, he just calls me. He's like,
You got to come over here.
come here now. Okay, so I get over there. He's like, I found out why. I was like, sneaky bastards.
Yeah.
And that's just something that you wouldn't even think about in your brain.
Well, I
Why
bought a
everybody's
box
wondering.
Vic stub.
You would like
From
I'm just curious where you found it because.
well, I mean, you know, I bought a stub that's from cross member to front bumper.
yeah.
We've got this 94 sitting there, and I'm finally like, okay, Derek, I found it. I found it. I said, I'm going to come over and show you to you. I haven't told anybody. Derek's the only one that I've showed, which Cy was there because it's his car.
Yeah.
But I told him, I was like, I think I found it. And we got to looking and digging, and looking at these other cars, and I was like, this is the only difference that I can find.
The
And
only-
honestly, what it did made everything more convenient, and just the fuzz harder.
Mhm. Yep.
It was bad enough also when I pulled into town with my car on the trailer. I met them two down in Mexico. He comes out, he's looking at the car on the trailer. Sends a Snapchat out, I don't know how many people. And I had people sending him Snapchats back, he's like, sell your car.
Like,
Why?
he didn't even get it in town.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, will you sell
Well,
it? Will you sell it? Will you
And
sell
I
it?
told him, I was like, yeah, he will, $800. I was like, it's gone. He'll sell it. Because he's going to junk it anyway.
Yeah.
First Derby, he's not going to drive it smart. He's not going to drive it like a new style needs to be driven.
Hey, we're kind of the same then.
I don't see this. My first car that I've ever built or run.
Yeah.
It'll be the first T-top Ford you've ever seen.
No fan. I mean, I'm a big fan. I had to have some room. Now, last night, speaking of that real quick, last night when I pulled up there at Higbee, of course, Rob's front end's like this on his car before he goes in. He couldn't see over the hood. The roof had crinkled just enough where it kind of looped up, and as he slides back in there, it's just like the perfect little spot. It slides right underneath the ceiling.
Which
It's
I've
just
talked
right
about
in
it
there.
several times. I hate a new style Ford with a new style Ford seat in it.
That's a
Because
second-
I'm bouncing off.
that's the only second new style Ford I ever built.
Really?
I usually stick the old box model.
Well, I've got a couple old iron Mopars if you want to get into those.
I had the one person that keeps asking me about my Lincoln if I wanted to sell it again last night. I said nope. I said it'll sit out there in the driveway. If I don't build it, it'll sit there.
Well, it's leaving next week, but it'll be back.
I know.
It's just going to take a little
It's gonna.
Mexican vacation.
The 04 and the 94 are going to another home for a couple weeks,
Yep. They're going to go
but
down.
they be back.
They're going to go down and drink margaritas and then come back.
Yeah.
I want to go with them.
They're gonna come back with a lot less clothes on them.
Yep. For
Yeah.
sure. They will come back empty and ready to.
These had nice plush strokes.
Well, what is
No,
your
you're
what is
getting a
your
Cavalier
all's
seat.
plans? You know, are you wanting to stay in the street stocks, or you want
We,
to kind of go
me
back
and
to
him
the stock?
both love it. The rest of our group,
Yeah, I eat it up because I can just
not so.
I
Well,
can,
see,
I can
feel-
full track people about twice and my shit's junk instead of just once. You know.
I feel like I know how you all are building, and that over the winter build should be your all street stock stuff.
Yeah.
Because you've already got the parts for it. You know you
Right.
do. Now, whenever you finally junk your shit like you have, like, in my opinion, I would probably finish the year out running stock stuff. Especially since the car count hasn't been there.
Correct.
We talked
See, but
about
I guarantee it.
it's-
I go to one stock show and there's
Yeah,
15
all
So
other
then I
people
need
there.
you to build a stock car.
all the Eddies will show up or something. And you know how that
Well,
goes.
that's why you all need 6 of you. And if your all's friends are ready to start building stock again,
Well,
Even
yeah,
the
Landon,
numbers
Cody, and them were talking to us last night about like, what money you out? You built the rear end and this. I was like, I built a lot of other shit too. Like,
Which me and Cody did talk last night, and it was me, Cody, and Landon standing there. Which Landon built an 03 for Madison because they can run that in stock. And he was like, "Why don't you guys let me?" I was like, "No,
that's
there's
why
a reason why."
I
And
Two
told you
different
the
ball
same
games.
thing.
it is.
we talked.
Yeah,
we
I'm-
did talk, and he was like, "I understand why you guys don't let this in." I was like, "There's a reason
Yeah.
why, and you just found it." He was like, "Dude, this thing does not have any plates on it," and he said, "I promise you guys crawl all over it." He said, "It is not cheated." He said, "But these things are stupid." I said, "They're stupid for a reason
Yeah.
to not run in
Well,
stock."
they're stupid to a point. Is what they are.
Yes.
And that's why whenever I get this 04 built, everybody knows I'm going to take it to one of those shows.
Yes.
And I'm going to drive like I've always wanted to drive and haven't been able to in these Mopars. You
Correct.
know, I mean,
Wonder why.
well, I tried it. I tried it in Quincy and it didn't work out. We had 8 plates on that car in stock class, and I made like 5 good hits with it. And was
She
like,
could have stuck her pregnant belly under the bumper.
Yeah, I was gonna say you tried to get me to run down there with you. And I was like, no way.
But, you know, we did talk last night, and Cody even said it, which we've had Cody on. Cody has 2 exact setups.
Be drinking
That'll
bread.
that'll get rid of that headache. He loves our stock rules.
He does.
well,
He's a very competitive stock builder.
we've talked about our rules though.
Our rules are made to get a few shows of one car. You don't have to pour money into it. Like
And we
Chef
get people reading too far into them.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point.
That's Derby.
That's the point.
So I think that's where I slipped up with my car. I built it just thinking this thing was going to drive through a brick wall. And it doesn't drive through a brick wall. Come find out.
Well, just like last night when Rob hit Cody on that wall on the
Yeah.
side, that's where he did all the damage to his car.
Yeah.
There was no give.
See, I found that Palmyra, the person between the wall and you does not get any damage. You absorb
You
all
always,
the wall.
you always get it. The only
That is-
chance of a wall is pushing them up or catching a tire.
We don't like concrete. We like the hard, straight cut walls, and it's still a sponge where the car gives a little bit. You know, if you say you run into Cody's car yesterday, something's given. It didn't look like Cody's car gave, and that
Well, yeah, he
concrete
caught it.
didn't
He
give.
caught it right on the bumper. That bumper isn't going to give.
Yeah, I mean, if he would have moved over,
If you
to
looked at
his
Rob's
right
bumper,
6
where
inches-
his bumper connected with his bumper, there's an old dimple there now.
yeah, Cody's SMS bumper's got a pretty good dent on the left side. You know, so is that something? Trying to not give away too much, but you know, are you guys leaning to staying in the street stocks, or are you guys leaning to stay in that? You know,
It's, I don't know. We may do something to help Cody and them because they want us to, and we kind of, we like building stock cars too. But me and him like a little bit more competition because in the stock cars, it's every derby is the same people.
Well,
the
you know, you
same quality.
say that, but man, that shit
It's the
has
same-
changed so much this year.
It's the same quality of builds. It's the same competition. You know, like we're last year. The reason we want to switch it up this year is every derby you went to is you Eddie's. Then if the next derby you Eddie's, and maybe 2 or 3 others and a couple of junk cars, and you're like,
I don't think you were coming to the right derbies.
we went to,
Because in
I couldn't.
Shelbina, we had
yeah,
30 stock cars.
I was there. I was there. I lost drive shaft. And as soon as Morgan, it was an SMS drive shaft. Lost a roll pin out of it.
I
But
tried to be
there
there.
There was so many diverse drivers there. Paris was the same
I had
way.
36 stock cars at Shelby. Stock cars last year at Shelby.
Yeah, because we were all supposed to stay on one end of the track, and that's when the Eddies. That was the first time the Eddies came up to us and like, "Hey, let's be friendly." And they're like, "Yeah, let's be friendly." And I was like, "There's too many people here." He's like, "All right, let's do this." And we're like, "All right." So we started doing that, and then Cody's like, kind of scooting around the end. He's like, "They're in." I'm like, "Oh, all right."
Here we go. Yeah, I mean that's just that is the deal with the Eddies. I mean,
It's
just
like
how they roll.
like robbing them tell us when we go to street stock stuff now, because you guys see it. Everybody goes after each other. Well, it's the same as with the Eddies. Why would you run with the most competition there, take out junk, then have to fight good cars at the end? Why don't you guys just get it done and over with, and hopefully you can pick
It
off
makes
junk?
for a really good show at the end of the derby.
Oh yeah, when I'm sitting there announcing that stuff, I want to see the baddest shit possible.
Yeah, because that's like Teddy came up to me last night. I was giving him shit. I was like, "Stay off my fucking door," and he's like, "Which car are you in?" And I was like, "Blake's," and he goes, "Perfect. I'm gonna hit that door." And he's like, he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'll come shake your guys' hand." He goes, "I want nothing afterwards. I just want good derby." He goes, "Good competition. You guys know what it is." I'm like, "Yep."
Yep.
And see, that's the shit that we try to talk about. Like, that right there. Like, everybody knows the beef is going into it, but after it's over, like,
That beef stops.
Kinda melt-
For a little
until the
bit.
next
For a little bit.
Kind of mellows out
For a little bit.
until
Then
you get to the
Snapchats
next
get
one.
rolling and everything else.
until that next one, and then whatever happens on that track stays on that track, and that's the way it should be.
I kind of like it though when the Snapchat and everything else gets rolling, gets you kind of like motivated, pumped up. You're like, yeah.
which, like, talking about the Eddies, Oski,
Yeah, how'd that go?
You mean Ottawa?
or Ottawa, I mean.
I knew they got through
They went through
the heat pretty easy.
And it looked like Eddie was getting down on it at the end of it. It looked like it come down to,
I didn't get to do my homework. I was doing other homework last night. I did watch Friday.
which Eddie was in that?
It was Corey and Jarek
Yep,
He's in
Jarrett
03 or
was the
something.
last
versus
one.
the Shillings, I think.
Yeah, at the end of it, and that's where it come down to. And I think Jarek was the. I think they got second.
Did they?
I don't swear to that, but I think that's what happened.
I say I know from just.
I know
being
I
around
watched
him.
a bunch of Snapchats of it. It looked like a nasty ass show,
He's a wheelman, that's for sure.
Yeah.
and that motor was screaming.
Yeah, I've been asking him questions about it. Like, I want to get mine like that. And he's like, a lot of money. A lot of money.
Cast block and cast heads. And you set.
Fucking cast heads away.
Well, we're gonna sit here, guys. You're talking cast heads. You're talking aluminum heads.
I grew up around Billy Cox. You want the best stuff you can get. And
Aluminum heads
small
have
block.
been in Sturgis, Kentucky. Aluminum heads have been in Blizzard Bash.
I just like giving him shit.
If you are running the correct fuel, you're never gonna hurt those aluminum heads.
No.
Never.
And well, I mean, Milner gave me a pretty good fucking head start on building a small block, but it's just, I don't know if I want to. I mean, I will, but it's going to take some time because I want, like he said, you want to do it right. You don't want to slap some fucking.
I remember a
junk
time
together.
there at Shelbana we just parked next to each other up against somebody, and the cast iron head small block was still running while the LS fuse box was blown apart right next to him.
Hey,
And I was sitting there idle, and I was kind of thinking, I was like, huh.
I had my
That's
wife. I had
LS
my wife
now.
with me. She didn't know better than to shake the motherfucker. 'Cause it's got
She was in
regular.
the seat with you.
Yeah, she fights it. She'll fight her fucking brother-in-law or our brother-in-law, Justin Tom. She'll fight him for a fucking seat every time. Because I like him riding with me a lot. Because like I said, I started out with him, and he knows what to do. If my car dies, he knows to go up there, shake the relays, and it'll come back on and everything else. She's sitting over there fucking just crunched up, like shake the relays. She's like, what are you talking about? The next thing you know, Austin Johnson just plow like, well, fuck, we're done.
Well, that's the thing about Justin. Justin knows what's going on.
Dude, he's a
He's
hell of
been
a
in the
dude.
game. He's won derbies.
He's a hell of a dude. I'll admit that. Me and him got into it for the longest time. We didn't like each other, and we kind of got past it. And he's a fucking great guy.
Which now he's building gut and goes for whether it's
His
little
brother, yeah.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, cheat little bastards.
So this got to go. He's like, man, I tried. And it was, it was just a little 5-on, 5-off weld.
Yeah.
He said, well, I kind of run out of 9-wire.
Yeah,
But
I get it.
he wouldn't cut it. I mean, and was back up pretty instantly.
Well, I cut them for him because nobody can figure out how to run a
And
propane torch.
And that's one dude you'd like to have.
I
with
take a
you
propane torch
at the
to
derbies
derby.
because
That sounds
he
some
thought
like
for a
some
while
Thomas
him and
Stark
Austin
shit.
didn't get along, and we showed up at where it was Palmyra, and right away goes up to Austin. He's like, "What do you want me to do in your car? Give me a torch. Well, I'll start doing this." And then he got his car done, so I went and teched in. He's like, "Well, what you gotta do is I gotta shave down."
So
plates."
these are why we didn't have the guys through tech early enough because they were fucking with each other's cars. Great.
He's like,
That's why we're an hour late.
yeah.
he'll do anything you ask him, and he don't expect anything in return.
Yeah.
I need to get him down to the shop.
He's a Ford man, though. He's
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he is a
Everybody's
Ford
taking
man.
drinks. Well, without too many secrets, what's the rest of summer looking like?
I gotta find some motivation, get a new stub thrown under my rig.
Find some motivation.
Well, you're not going to find it at the bottom of that 30 rack.
I might.
That's when he does his best work. I swear.
I would say that's when the wheels and shit start
It
turning.
does. I don't know how many times Carly said she's had to go out in the shop and knock it off.
Oh boy, she cuts me
Stop.
off. I'll be out there just slinging welds and pounding and beating. She's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
She's like, I got family coming into town to watch this one. Stop. He's like, oh, all right.
Well, what I'm really hoping you was going to do was tell me you were going to have a couple stock cars together for next Saturday.
Well, you never know.
3,000 to win, 2,000 for second, 1,000 for third,
3,000 minimum.
minimum. We can't put the exact number out because we're really not sure of that
No,
number
there's
yet.
still shit coming in.
Most everybody knows that, which I got asked last night. The Royal Rumble part is done, which we hit off last week. There was too many guys that were
It's too. I understand
wanting to
it
not
being.
take the chance
Yeah.
of the Derby outcome.
Which
by
in part of that
chip.
might have been our fault with the more expensive buy-in for it, but son of a bitch, man. That money comes out of my pocket.
I don't think it was the buy-in part. I think it's just the what everyone bitched to us about. Like, you get number one, you're fucked. You get 30, you're pretty.
Boy,
You're
if I
pretty
was
good
number
odds.
one,
You hope.
if I was number one, I'd point straight towards the gate. And as soon as that second person came in, we'd kiss noses.
Well, how it was going to be, it was 1 and 2 were going to come out roughly at the same
Oh,
time.
gotcha.
They would have been out there together.
I say
Number
because
3 comes in,
I
they
seen-
get hit with a stick, and then they go. Well, you two could have drew 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Number 3 is either not one of your buddies, so 1 and 2 shoves 3 and 4 up on the wall. They're done.
We already dropped the buy-in time.
Because I see in Utah they do kind of something like, because my cousin was there, they do something like that, but it's like they drive in a circle or I don't know.
It's called the Utah Start.
Mm-hmm.
which we tried that at Madison, and a lot of the guys weren't smart enough.
Stop it.
I'm being serious, because they would go on a circle.
Wait, where were we at?
And they would do it, and I
I'd
would
get
hit
dizzy.
3, and next thing you know, somebody's going across the track to smoke somebody. I was like, guys,
Teddy,
you gotta
Teddy
wait
P
till we
always
go.
told me, you leave on 2 or 1, they're not going to break your stick.
I'll leave it to Teddy trying to find them gray areas. So they didn't deny that there wouldn't be a stock car at Columbia next Saturday.
Next Saturday?
Yeah.
Well, we talked last night. You have to work.
Yeah, I do have to work.
Yeah, I got work too.
How many write-ups do you get?
Hold on, you gotta work. But how far do you have to be away to be able to respond?
Oh, I had to be there full time.
He has to be there the entire
I had to be
day.
on site.
Sab's hired.
I probably will.
Oh, so he's never fucking home.
I probably will, honestly. I've already talked to Capital a few times and shit like that. I love Capital besides Jason Riddle. Or not, yeah, Jason Riddle.
Yeah, I think he moved up.
Yeah, that's a
I
problem.
think Calvin's got his spot.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I used to work with him.
Yeah, that's where I first met him, man.
Yeah.
He's sitting there talking to me, and the next thing you know, he's like, "Oh, I gotta go get water." Like, that truck don't sound good. Oh, fuck it, not mine.
I torched that bitch that night too.
he brought it back. He came flying down the road, and you just hear this thing rolling, the fucking clugging and everything. He gets up to me, go, boom, and fucking stops, pulls the brakes. He goes, "Well, that's where she stays." Gets out, pops the hood, turbo's red, no water in it, fucking steaming.
That was in Fulton City
Wrong
Streets.
run, oil leaking all over the new mat, everything else. Steven's like, that might be a problem.
I can't get you no nice shit.
Keith's like, what happened? And Steven's like, I don't know, I was driving.
Jesus.
He's like, you didn't think to stop when the tip gauge was pegged out? He goes,
Nope,
I didn't.
fuck it.
He's like, I didn't think it worked.
Oh, that bitch was hot.
It's at 4 p.m. That's
Oh.
bad.
Oh no, yeah, we were, and this was probably what 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was way the fuck over it.
Then the Million Head probably weighs 1,800 pounds, something like that. Steven's in a half-ton piece of shit, frame rusted in half, and he's like, throw it in the bed of my truck. We're like, what? He's like, here, let me get a couple tires. Throws a couple tires in there. And they set it in there, and his truck goes, whoa. He's like, yep, that'll be good to Columbia.
Jesus.
That was my half-ton Dodge.
No, it was a GM.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, that was.
You said that you had to drive like 55 the whole way back to the steering wheel.
The old death wall.
He's like, that's the first time I've seen a GM do a little bit of death wobble. He's like, kind of scared me.
Jesus Christ. See, can't give him nothing nice. Ever.
This is why he drives a Buick now.
Nothing wrong
Don't
with
hate on that
Buick.
That's all he gets.
Don't hate on that
Grant
Buick.
drives a Buick.
That
It's
Buick's
car.
pimp.
Buick, that's it.
That bitch is. It just sails down the road.
Better than a Cadillac, baby.
Yep. Well, guys.
Do we want to jump into Boone County a little bit? I mean,
Yeah.
whenever this bitch drops, we'll be 3 days crunch
Oh
time.
my God. So we had I met this last Tuesday with the head of the fair board,
Insurance is settled. We're good on that.
Greg. Cool dude. He's like, as soon as I get there,
He
he's
was
like,
worried about us. I know he
"Oh, I
was.
know." I got there and he's like, "Want a beer?" I was like, "Sure, I will." I just got done working. So we went out and we marked the track off and talked about a lot of
The little
stuff.
bitty track we're having.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Something's funny going on there.
It's tiny. But here's kind of the situation, guys. We will give you a heads up. The city of Columbia did bring the fair back to Columbia instead of Sturgeon. There is no lights. The city stripped all the lights out. They stripped the PA out, so we will supply the PA.
Which we've got a badass PA.
I think he's got 8 light plants.
Yep. It'll be fine. They've got a bunch of seating set up for
Yep.
blankets and shit like that overlooking the track.
And then there's actually going to be the length.
Hell, I think there's bleachers enough for like
There's going
15
to
or
be
1800
there's going to
people.
be bleachers actually in the pit arena or in the Derby arena itself, in between some concrete barriers and stuff. And then he's got another I think 1,000.
Good thing we got good insurance.
Correct. Another 1,000 set of bleachers to go on the spectator side. They're going to have a dive bar beer garden with music going on every night of the week.
Yeah, I think it would be there.
Right behind where the bleachers are at, they will be selling beer from the beer garden.
Hotels aplenty.
Hotels everywhere in that town. Several different food trucks.
Yep.
They're going to have their normal stuff set up, but then I think Just
And
Jeff
priced
is gonna
for
have,
your consumer.
correct. Just Jeff is going to have a building there.
Fucking salesman.
It had been since, I'm going to say 10 years at least since I've even been to those fairgrounds. They've got a ball field out there. I didn't know that. So
I think they were thinking Kevin
we gonna have
Costner style there.
We should have a Derby team kickball game or what?
well, so
Hey, did you happen to listen to last week or 2 weeks ago episode?
No, I didn't.
Last week?
The Jacob Green one, I started listening to it, and I heard.
No,
that was
oh,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Last week, I got a message from Lucky Sevens. They're down.
Really?
Yep.
For what? Hold on.
Oh, that'd be
I don't listen.
Maybe you ought to start listening to the
I don't
podcast.
listen to the podcast because I'm usually here.
So what was said 2 weeks ago was that we would like to do something for charity. The original owner of the promotion company is in a car with 3 techs. Stock rules. All proceeds go to a charity.
Yeah,
Whether
and
it's,
we could make it an annual event.
correct. Whether it's Children's Miracle Network, Honor Flight, something, but it would be Filthy Promotions, Lucky Sevens,
J&B, Artie Clark,
Yeah,
CDP.
With the owner of Filthy Promotions having the mullet, I think it should be something wigs for kids or. you
Well,
know.
and that's something we can discuss later. We got to get everybody on board. Lucky Sevens, Jacob Wood, he
That's 2
said,
promotion companies.
he
right
said, I've been looking for a reason to get in a big car anyway.
That would be
That
badass.
would be
Wouldn't that
something.
be
That
cool
would be
shit?
cool.
Would you come watch that?
Fuck yeah, I would.
there. I think
Hey,
You got a beer garden now.
We could shave your mullet the night of it.
I don't fuck. We can shave it now. I don't care.
No.
Give us a clippers.
But so that that is going to get lined up.
I'm going to try to make that happen. Like I said,
That'd
we
be
got to
cool.
figure out who's going to tech it.
Correct.
Austin.
That was kind of mentioned. Maybe
We talked about picking like dedicated drivers from each promotion company that shows up,
to do the tech.
to do the teching.
You guys better not bring it forward.
Well, if I come, it'll be in an 03 or newer.
But it would be
Well,
it would be
Teddy,
separated. So
Teddy text for a while.
if
Didn't
you
he?
have 5 different promotion companies, I mean, you're going to have 5 teams of 4. You're going to get it on, but then
That
you're
would be
going to have
sweet.
the rest of the derby.
Wouldn't that
is
be
gonna
cool?
go
That'd
by
be sweet.
itself. Where it just comes down to those guys, and then
Which we might make a post after this deal on the Hard Nose page. Got to get the feelers out there because I want to make it happen before the end of the year. But I want to get everybody enough time to put a car together too.
you're wanting some bitch, ain't you?
Paris.
Always.
No, we don't want to do it here. We'll have to find like a central location. I'm down to even throw in money to rent the facility. And I'll put the insurance up for sure. 100%.
So you're thinking like promoters against promoters, or like a promoter team against other
promoters.
The
Promoters
team-
and techs.
Yeah,
Promoters and techs.
it'll be a 4-on-4 deal.
Yeah. But it would be the promoter owner, so it would be Steven and 3
Gary
of our techs to
Jones.
have a set of 4. J&B,
Therefore,
Gary Jones with their 4, Lucky Sevens, one of the Woods, and
Yeah.
their other, to get their teams of 4.
Artie and his
Already
4.
in the same way. Just to
You gotta do it where each promoter brings a stock car, street stock car,
No,
gut and go,
no.
and all in the same arena.
no.
Just
Oh my!
make a
Another
mess.
thing that I was thinking about that I haven't even told anybody. You know how cool it would be to have a mod compact versus big car class? Because they're always saying,
I was
they're
watching that the other
always-
day.
he was quick. No way.
No way. I remember them doing that shit like when I first started. They just throw in like if a compact was overbuilt or a big car is overbuilt, or
You
you
saw
can
them
run.
naked.
You can run, but you gotta be against these 2 compacts.
yeah, but
that
I'm
couldn't
just
get
telling
in.
you that if it was a mod compact versus like a street stock,
The compact
Big car?
eats ass. all
Yeah,
day.
it gets wheels every time. Every time big car hits it, it clears it. It goes over the hood, fucks you up.
Every
Everything.
once in a while, we have a compact driver that got out in their feature or heat ask if they can go into the big car class.
And every time, what's my answer?
Every once in a while, we have that come up.
Load up,
And
go to Eldon.
Steven's answer every time is, fuck no.
There's reasons
There's
for that.
advantages and disadvantages of front wheel drive and rear wheel drive. Rear wheel drive, you gotta have
You
power.
put
to
them
push
all
it.
on a dry track, though, I'm telling you, to level the playing field.
Gotta have power. LS.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I do
That's
just,
why he's got gear.
hey,
Leave
I
it
do
alone.
just fine. I stick it around longer than you do.
That's okay.
Oh!
You gotta ride home with me.
Bitch, it's a long walk to Macon.
I got plenty of friends, but no.
But pay attention to Facebook because
Uh-huh.
as soon as we're done with this, we're actually going to go live and talk about Boone County. We're going to tell you exactly how to get into the facility. If you're bringing a car, as to spectating, which entrance to get into, the tech time, the start times. We're going to hit all that stuff up, and it's going to be posted hopefully within 2 hours.
Which, this will be
This will be
Thursday.
This will be Thursday, so
Yeah,
Two
you're
hours,
listening to this
7
on
days.
Thursday.
it happened a week ago.
You better go back and get caught up on some stuff. So we will make that stuff. We will get it going. If there's any changes, hopefully by Thursday we will know something. But I mean, we're only doing the Derby, but hell, they've got freestyle motocross there.
So it's like an actual county, big
It's
county.
their fair.
It's
Like,
their
they're-
Monster track. Monster Jam track in the middle of Derby track.
No, we're not doing that ever again.
No,
You guys don't wanna do that?
They've got enough
No.
room in County. They can have that for yourself.
No, but like I said, Greg did. This is probably going to the last time it's going to be where it's at. There's a big. It's a hayfield right now, but the city is actually giving them that because where we're going to be derbying Saturday is going to be more baseball fields and some artificial turf cricket field, however the fuck cricket. is.
Quidditch for you,
Quidditch.
for you, Harry Potter.
Croquet.
So that's why they didn't want to put a bunch of money in the facility. So everything that they're doing, they're renting, like I said, light plants, bleachers. They still have all the buildings set up.
Wait, what time is this? What time does this gig start?
You'll have to watch the live. to figure
This
that
isn't
out.
worth
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I want to sit in the sun.
This ain't where
If
the
I
tractor
go.
pulls at.
Yeah.
This will be a different area.
Tractor pull. No, the tractor pull's in Sturgeon.
This is a Boone County.
This is back in Boone County. This is in Columbia.
They're off I-70
Just-
on the exit, right?
No, it's on 63.
63.
It's north of I-70, couple miles north, right on between Prathersville Road exit and Oakland Gravel Road exit.
Okay, so I've never been out to that one.
Yeah, so we'll get everything lined up.
It's a big.
You know, we've said several times we worried about dropping the ball.
Gun show.
But it was a lot of that stuff where we were waiting on other people were waiting on us, and now we have kind of met in the middle to get this thing lined out. It'll be our normal street stock class. It will be our normal.
There was
go
so
class.
much bullshit that went into this one.
Oh yes, it'll
We-
be
especially with the city fighting us on the insurance.
yeah,
Like,
it'll be our
it was,
normal.
it was horrible. I've never had to fight a city.
Can I get hurt and sue you and we split half?
No.
No.
Oh.
Actually,
That's not a bad idea.
If somebody sues us, no more derbies.
Well, I mean, I'm not
Our
like trying to take you
first
for everything.
sue.
sold.
We are done with derby. Filthy Promotions is out.
Is it
we
enough
out.
to get us some campers?
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Time to start fishing.
My good buddy all the time growing up, he goes, "You get hurt here, I'll give you a lawyer. You sue me, we split half."
He'll even pay the legal fees.
Let's touch on. We've got to get back into the big show recaps.
Correct.
You know, we've lost out on a
And
little
I
bit
think
because
we
we've
did
been
talk-
so busy.
Correct. We talked about that. You know, after this next one coming, we've got I think 3 weeks between Boone
Oh,
County and our next one. To
thank
give
God.
Some time to breathe and everything.
But not really, because we're doing that one start to finish, so we'll have to start.
So the next 2 out of 3 is start to finish.
Yeah.
Bitch.
I know your builders are about wore out.
Good.
We won't do this to them next year because I'm not taking on 8 derbies again.
That's nuts.
Ever.
What do you mean? Last year we built more cars than we did
I
this
know,
year.
but it's fixing the one to make it to all 8 of them.
You guys built 5 and I built 3, and your dad's like, man.
And I know
wanna do
Teddy has been on my dick.
it. About points. He was talking to me about it too.
Points.
He's over
I
at my
wish
house.
he would just calm down because there's stuff in the works for it. That I don't know that there'll be an actual like points series, but there will be because see we keep record of everybody that's won,
Oh yeah,
and it'll be more of a top 5 type deal.
it's on computer.
And there will be something at the end of the year for all the top runners and the people that supported the shows all year. So I don't know how well that's going to go over with him because he likes black and white.
He does. I think it's that Greek part of him. A little bit more, and I'm not saying anything bad about that part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, but he does want he likes the true cut, black and
Right.
white, everything bold printed letters. You know.
And I'm going to be 100% honest with everybody. I am not prepared enough to do all that shit. I try to give everybody a fair shake and tack and give them good payouts. Leave me alone.
That's why I'd rather run a fucking Steven show than anything.
We do the best we can with me being the ADD dumbass that I am. Like that's how that shit works.
You think you're bad? Fuck, ask Austin trying to build with me. Holy fuck.
Have a hammer in his hand, and then like get to doing something. Then turn around, and look at me. Say, where the hell did my hammer go? It's in your hand,
Still
dude.
in your hand.
Well, I don't know. I had ADHD bad as a kid, and fuck it, I don't know if it's still just kicking in every now and then or what.
You didn't know what HD was, but the doctor told you had 80 of them, didn't you?
Yeah.
I was 80 of them.
I was
sons of
like 8 or
bitches.
10, and the doctor's like, yeah, they got ADHD, they need to be on medicine. My mom's like, fuck no, they'll just learn to deal with it.
Yep.
I just got a message from a guy on Facebook. He moved to New Mexico. They don't derby down there, but he's got
We're
in
not going to
tight.
New Mexico, bro. I'm not going to New fucking Mexico.
He-
It's not happening.
He's in good with this guy that owns a racetrack, and they want to try it.
Oh, you're in it.
Hey, vacation.
It's not a vacation.
Yeah, that's more work.
It's strictly to taking a fish shoot.
I was wishing you
Bullshit!
guys would've got
I am
Macon.
not doing that.
If I get a vacation day, it's to go derby. I mean, that's I haven't really. I don't get a regular
I'm pretty sure
vacation day.
I took 2 days off work last week to go to Ottawa.
I see where
Vacation.
your ass is at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not in Ottawa, just playing top golf with a woman and being smart and
Hey,
shit.
you got to satisfy them.
I
You're
might.
learning.
You got to keep them on
Will
track.
somebody tell me how to do that?
It's easy. You got 4 weeks per month. You got to give them a half a day Saturday.
There you go.
That's too much.
So, this is probably a pretty good place to end this. Pay attention to Facebook. We're getting ready to go live. I'd like to thank Jordan and Austin for coming down to the dungeon.
I have to get him back on here because I don't know if I'm done giving him shit or not.
So hopefully we will see these guys, at least maybe one of them next week. If not, I think.
I bet we see them both.
Bet you there's a good possibility we'll see him next month.
I bet you're right.
We definitely won't be there Saturday.
So.
Well, that's the end of it.
This is Austin Schaefer.
That's Jordan Wood.
We'll see you at your next one.
Make jump, boys.